Hi guys, my name's Jordana. I am a photographer, a traveler, and a Google enthusiast. Google keeps me connected. It keeps me entertained. It teaches me and it helps me teach. I can use Google products to answer questions, organize my life, keep in touch with friends. At this point, it's ingrained in almost every aspect of my daily life. Now, as you may have noticed, I'm currently even wearing some Google on my face. This is Google Glass. Okay, Glass, record a video. My perspective on the world is now yours to share. I love all things Google, but as a photographer, I'm most excited about Google+. I was an early adopter, so I've gotten to see its progress over the past couple years. Now, Google+ was always popular with photographers from the very beginning, but recently, the quantity and caliber of photographers on Google+ has exploded. I start my day by scrolling through a crazy impressive body of work posted by hundreds of strangers and friends. Every type of photography is represented by artists all over the world. They're engaging with each other, sharing with each other, not just with likes, but with valuable comments and discussion. Every day I find a new type of photography that I want to try, and every day I find a new photographer that inspires me. And tens of thousands of photographers are having the very same experience on Google+. Our Google+ connections aren't limited to the internet either. Loads of us meet up in cities all over the world to go on photo walks, where we can explore our collective photographic passions together and form lasting friendships as a result of an art-making experience. After organizing lots of photo walks in Chicago, I felt inspired to begin a huge personal project. America by Rail was a 45-day train trip across the western United States, during which I organized 10 photo walks, met hundreds of photographers, and took 13,000 photographs. I loaded everything I could possibly need on my back and took an exhilarating leap of faith. In each stop along the way, a talented Google+ photographer showed me their favorite locations. Turns out, random people on the internet are super nice. They fed me, opened their homes to me, drove me up mountains, through crazy storms, and across the Mississippi River. They snuck me into amusement parks, helped me shop for bear spray, and got me drunk. America by Rail was a fantastic opportunity to see the country through my camera. And at the end of it, I can't tell you how much I grew, not just as a photographer, but as a person. I became more trusting, more giving, more self-aware. I had a new perspective on the world and a new appreciation for human relationships. I came back from that trip all muscly, about as tan as I get, and an overall better version of myself. And all of it is because of an online community, because of Google+. I was able to make these real experiences and real relationships from something that previously existed in a very intangible way. I was able to seamlessly merge my online life with my real life, and that is the power of the Google+ community. Now, when I first proposed this trip to my family and friends, there was a general reaction of concern. Some said I would get kidnapped by swamp people, while others were convinced I would be eaten by a bear. Now, what really happened were things like witnessing my own personal sunrise in Glacier National Park, or getting mildly disoriented in sand dunes in 120-degree heat when all of my water was in the car, but it worked out. I sat in the shade of 300-year-old trees, visited incredible architecture, and competed against the most notorious mustache at Google Campus. I approached each day with equal parts excitement, a reasonable level of paranoia, and an open mind, all of which came into play when I encountered the most invasive species of the Pacific Northwest, hipsters. I hiked through temperate rainforests and drove down abandoned roads, not seeing anyone, not any sign of civilization for hours. And let me tell you, you will never appreciate a toilet after having a papa squat in rattlesnake country, twice. I saw the shaggy salt-licking goats of Montana and the shaggy Speedo-wearing rollerbladers of Santa Monica Beach. Relax, I've spared you the visual. The point is that each of these moments was beautiful. Speedo moment, bad example, but the rest of them. Because in these moments, I felt connected to earth and to time and to myself. And it wasn't just where I was or what I was doing. All of the stories are spectacular, but they're so meaningful because when they happened, I lived them through my camera. Check it out. I look at these photographs now and I beam. Not because they're compositionally excellent, magazine-worthy masterpieces, but because these are the stories of my life, the products of my adventures. And I'm not just stuck telling you about it, I can let you stand where I stood and see what I saw. Photography is pretty awesome. When you think about it, my job is to go places and see stuff. I have a lot of grand philosophies, but that's the core of it. I photograph my life. But I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough to travel, take beautiful pictures, and then store them in a box under your bed. It doesn't matter what experiences you have if you're not sharing them. Now, the way I see it, because I'm the one that experienced a moment, I am now that moment's steward. Some people adopt a highway, I adopt a moment. I've probably adopted like 500,000 moments by now. And it's my responsibility to take care of them, protect them, develop them, and then send them into the world so they can do their thing. So how do I send my moments into the world with the least separation anxiety possible? I need a venue that allows them to be huge, detailed, gorgeous, and full of my contact and copyright information. Google Plus is just that venue. It's a pristine, well-designed gallery for the digital age. In Google Plus, I have an incredible network of support that goes beyond casual likes. Because on Google Plus, artists come together both online and in real life to support each other and share their passions. That's what inspired me to travel, see the country, and meet some of these people in person. It also inspired me to do a little bit of research. I asked 173 photographers about their opinions, and the first thing I took away from it was that people on the internet have a lot of opinions. I found out that 85% of the photographers on Google Plus deliberately seek out other photographers as a source of inspiration and education. 95% utilize Google Plus as a place to share their own photographs. And 75% said that they prefer Google Plus to share and promote their photography over any social network out there. Now, there's no shortage of social media that's aimed at photographers, and I'm sure that they all have some really great attributes, but none of them offers the full gamut of what Google Plus offers. Because Google Plus isn't just taking care of the artists that already exist. It's helping to create a new generation of photo takers through things like this magical face camera and the acquisition of photo-based companies, the development of apps and products, and through the creation of community. 59% of those surveyed told me that they go out and take more photographs as a direct result of Google+. 85% said that they have noticeably improved as photographers since joining Google+, and 97% said that Google+ inspires them to experiment with their photography and try new things. What do you get when a massive population of photographers decides to go out and try new things? Innovation. At this point, it's pretty much established that art is not created in a vacuum. Any artistic medium will grow and change through different eras and different physical centers of influence. This is the case with Van Gogh, who was influenced by Gauguin. The same thing happened in music with the jazz musicians of New Orleans and Chicago, or with the beat poets of San Francisco. This is the case throughout history. Artists gravitate toward other artists in order to expand their style and technique. Now, in the past, these influences were based largely on geography for obvious practical reasons, but now, through the advent of the internet, photographers are influencing each other every day with no concern of physical boundary or language barrier. With Google+, there is no limit to how we can change the shape of photography as an art. And it's not just a theory, you guys, it's happening. The photographers on Google+ are actively changing the shape of the medium. There's an artistic revolution going on, a revolution of style, technique, and methodology as this massive population of photographers converges on Google+ to share their collective passions. And I have examples. Guillaume desachy said he was long inspired by the way that Joe Azure photographed the Golden Gate Bridge in the early morning fog. He saw this photograph, and it inspired him to create this one. Maki Silberberg said she was inspired by the way that Alan Shapiro photographed his moments in the monochrome series. Maki was also inspired to take this photograph after seeing this image by Eustace James. And Eustace was in turn inspired to take this photograph because of an image by Jason Jacober. Mark Ascara was influenced to hop a fence and scramble down some really sketchy-looking cliffs to take pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge in HDR. Now, Trey Ratcliff can take credit for the HDR influences with his online tutorials and impressive body of work. I take credit for the fence hopping and cliff scrambling through peer pressure and open mockery. Alex Lapidus was inspired to take this image after seeing Nathan Bone's images of colorful blurs. Michael B. Stewart was inspired to take this photograph by one of the same photographers that influences me, Thomas Hawk. And Derek B. Kind was influenced to take this image by Scott Jarvie. And I mean, really, who would not be influenced by that guy? Google Plus is full of these people, silly, wonderful people full of creativity and talent. Krista Ray is a photographer who's been inspiring G+ers to push their artistic boundaries for years through photo scavenger hunts. Check out some of these entries. They're clever, completely unique, and totally awesome. Krista is the perfect example of somebody who loves photography and wants you to love it too. She gives her time, energy, and enthusiasm to help photographers find an outlet, an artistic outlet through photography. Another photographer, Lotus Carroll, started a trend of taking photographs of yourself in public restrooms. Ideally, nothing pervy, and hopefully you flush the toilet first, but now it's this huge thing, the bathroom selfie. Now, it's not necessarily my kind of artistic pursuit, but I can see why it's popular because it creates a humanization of us, and it makes us more accessible. I don't know who that is. Google really has offered us so many opportunities to change how we learn, practice, and experience photography. They constantly come up with new ways to connect us. I mean, think about what Google Glass is at its core. It's a direct method of shared visual experience, a way to exponentially increase the active creation of art. And in Google Plus alone, we have so many opportunities to grow, because Google Plus can be a school, a community, a gallery, a place to see and be seen. For the first time in history, budding artists, students, and hopefuls have access to art where and when it's happening, online, and it's free. Google Plus enriches our lives as photographers and gives us access to each other in a way that's never existed before. And it's helped create a huge community of photographers, and it can do the same thing for any artistic pursuit. So whether you're a photographer, a writer, a painter, a patron, or a musician, even if you don't know that you are one yet, I invite you to join me. Join us online to grow as artists, as humans, and as friends. Thank you guys so much.